Hey, what's up, people? I normally don't do a in-bunk video, but I'm gonna do one now. So I'm gonna show you the first part, what I didn't put in here about the snow. But I also am gonna respond. I think it's EB, Edward B. Boy. EB asked the question. A, they asked me why a company driver or not. I am a company driver. B, they came back and said, well, I didn't think you could, because I had talked about how I thought DCI Jams should have told his people, hey, I'm not going to do it. DCI has told him he's not going to do stuff. Now, he's been a little more aggressive. Basically, F you, I ain't doing it. I'm not like that. So, and like I said, my driver manager I have is a sweetheart. I actually love her and the girl she works with. I've actually worked for both of them. So, like, my driver manager had done they were trying to do a dedicated fleet for the Amazon when they took over Whole Food, and they have made her a dedicated driver manager. So I went to her partner, which is a lady named Jody. And Jody actually drove for a year, but her family, after I talked to Jody, her family has kind of deep roots, like my father's side of family, in trucking. And so she's got drivers, and her mom was like a driver manager and all this other stuff. And her mom actually has come back to work for the company. So her mom, Jody's mom, was worked for the original company that the company I'm hired to acquired. So her mom worked for the original company where these old ass trailers come from. Her mom worked for them. Both of them really good-hearted people. They're different in different ways, but they're really cool ladies. And I'm a very, and probably some of it from my managed background and who I am, you meet your driver manager, and what you want to do is, at least for me, I tell you right off who I am. I'm one of the people, if I tell you who I am, believe me. I tell you right off, I'm sarcastic. I tell you if I get pissed off, don't take it personal. And usually when I'm pissed off, because I know how to handle it, I'll automatically tell you, I might start swearing. It is not directed at you. So do not take it personal. I can like you and vent my frustrations. So when they have me up in the East Coast, I'll go a certain part, but there's a certain part, I'm sorry. I will get your truck back to a facility if it was forced dispatch, and we can go our separate ways. Going to work for a company that's forced dispatch is probably not going to work for me. So I'm very honest. Actually, though, in this day and age, forced dispatch is some bullcrap unless you're working for a very good company. So, like, I know that Prime, I could not go to work for Prime as a company driver. I would have to be a owner-op if I did Prime. And I'm still not sure, because I want to know the details of their physical, because like I said, I'm fat as hell. My thing is, I'm fat as hell and I got a limp. So if that's going to be a no-go for them, because of the fracture, I have a limp. I have a permanent limp. Now, I've seen people that work for them that I can tell have a few disabilities, but I don't know what their criterion is. I have an actual limp since the fracture. And I'm fat. I'm fat as hell, so I'm not in the same shape. I can walk across. I'm going to be a little out of breath. I can pick up heavy stuff, because my bags I be carrying up in here sometimes by probably about 100 pounds when I carry them bad boys out of here. So I can do all of that. Now, obviously for not long periods, but long enough to get it in and out the truck, walking across the yard. Might take a little break, get it across there, but I can do it. But I don't know to what degree their physical is. If it's something like what the company that acquired us does for their drivers, now that's a whole nother can of worms, because they have them doing like stair steps and all sorts of shit. But anyway, EB asked me, because I'm getting off track a little bit and rambling, and I was supposed to meet Shy, so y'all gonna see in the snow part, the beginning snow part, I forgot to add to the snow. I was supposed to meet Shy. I did not make Shy. He's 40 miles up the road from me. The snow started coming down too strong. I called him and said, bro, I ain't gonna make it. Plus, we only would have like talked for maybe like 30, 40 minutes. And then both of us he had to crash, because his load is due Monday. And he's supposed to do it like 5 something in the morning, and he's rolling hours. So he got to haul butt at like 6 in the morning, and then he'll get to Texas tomorrow. and he'll be maybe, I'm estimate shot. Well, his truck goes 70. So depending on what the road conditions are, but he's a Chicago boy, so he knows how to drive snow. But he'll be, so he's 700 some miles. I think he's 750, 760. He did 664 today. So he'll be maybe an hour to 2 hours outside of his shipper. Depending on his speed, is as what I'm estimating. Because he's a foot to the floor. He's a lead foot, like him and DCI, guys, y'all just put it to the floor and y'all like, whatever happened, happened. If it rolls over, okay. I really think that's how y'all think. It don't even matter to y'all. But my driver, to me, it's a relationship thing. And your driver manager, they can work with you based on how you drive. We also are in a 200,000 driver shortage in America. So you're losing drivers to stuff like this. Like drivers who don't want to drive the East Coast. I'm not doing it. Trucker Bill. So let me give you an example. When he started looking for a new company, this is the first thing he asked. Do you have an inside-facing camera in your trucks? Yes. Well, thank you for your time. He was done. He's not going to be in a truck where he feels as if he's being watched. He said, I hate to say it, I might want to scratch my balls. I don't want you watching me do it. I mean, I understand what he's saying. And for me, for sleeper cabs, that is some weird stuff. That whole camera in the sleeper cab is really bizarre. So I don't have a problem with the outside facing camera. Matter of fact, I had my first drive cam. I did a rolling stop, y'all. And on my off time too. I was on my off time. But it's okay. And so it doesn't really count. I have to do like a little review and just acknowledge that I saw that I did it. And that's when you become too familiar, and I was very tired. I was heading over to hang out with family, and I was butt tired, and I bobtailed over. And I think I had come in town. It was like the very next day after Thanksgiving. I was whooped. That's when you don't drive tired, and when you're very familiar with your area, and you like, okay, I gotta hurry up and get past this because there's gonna be a whole bunch of cars coming up. This is the area, so yeah, I knew exactly I knew, But my driver manager, she's really good. And when I told her, I said, look, let me explain something to you. It's not personal, but I need to get the hell out to the East Coast. This was like the last time they had me stuck up there. I am going to reject this load because I'm not going east. You had me west. I'm not. I can't. I've been up here for I think I was up there for like a week, 2 weeks. And for me, I'm on edge on the East Coast. I really, literally am. That's like Trucker Bill. When he went to put in for his company, he told them 11 Western, and then they asked him would he be willing to do Canada, and they told him how much extra they paid. He's like, psh. He's driven all of Canada. Bill he's driven all of the continental U.S., and he's driven all of Canada. When I first started driving Canada, Bill schooled me on Canada. And he's driven his, so now he'll do the 11 Western plus BC, British Columbia. Big whoop. He knows it. He's done it, and that's where he's close. He's gonna close out as a regional driver. He'll be home once a week or once every other week, something like that. And and he'll pass by his house a lot. He'll pass by his house quite a bit. So I'm a little toasty in here, y'all. The snow started melting a little bit, and we had more snow. And I watched some of these truckers, and I'm sorry, I think they're dumb. The temperature did go up a little bit. It was down to 32, which is freezing. Then it went up to, I think it went up to 39. Then it snowed again and dropped like to 37. So it did go up, but I decided to shut it down. I'm just going to shut it down here. I'm not... And the story's going that way because I drove coming in, and then on top of that, I saw the lights from the police vehicle, and then on top of that, the roads were got it clear. I saw the trucks coming, the salt trucks and the snow plows, and if you get other trucks on there and they start driving on it, they pack the snow, which makes it packed ice, and until the salt trucks come. And that nice warm heat comes, I call the sun, which I'm going to wait for in the morning, and beats down on the ground, you go. So But my driver manager, I just had to come to Jesus. I told her, this. If you put me up here, I'm letting you know now. I'm not fast up on the East Coast. I will probably have a lot of stuff to be rescheduled because I'm not rushing up here. I know what I'm dealing with up here, and I'm on tilt. I'm on tilt. Me and the East Coast do not work well. Um, Going like to Illinois, um, Columbus, those are areas, and I've driven. Don't get me wrong. I've driven. Like I said, I've driven. Only thing I really haven't driven is how farthest I've gone into Florida has been Jacksonville. That's it. And I was working for Pride, and I took some. It was a food load for Pride Transport in Jacksonville. That's as far as I've gone. I ain't gone no further than Jacksonville, Florida. So I haven't gone into Florida deep. That's probably the only state. I've been to everywhere. I've been to Maine. I'm trying to think if I've been to Maine. Maryland, Connecticut. Hmm. Have I been to Vermont and Maine? Maybe not Vermont and Maine. Been to Mass. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think with Conway I went to Vermont and Maine because I think I covered all the states under Conway. Because under Conway, yeah, I took some stuff everywhere, and there Conway is they get paid a little more than most trucking companies, so you did make good money with them, and the reason is because they specialize in being able to handle customers, especially ones that have tight backs and ones that don't want to risk dealing with starter companies with them wrecking their crap or hitting their stuff. So that's one of the things they specialize in is that they hire drivers who can put stuff in very tight quarters. So like it was funny because I was kind of nervous when I saw that in El Paso because I was going to have to back off this street. And I was so shocked. It just like it was like click. And there was a driver in front of me. I said, I need you to pull up. He came and said, are you going, which one are you going to? Because there were two facilities right next to each other, right off this little ghetto street, right? And I looked, I had assessed. I looked at my surroundings. I knew I had positioned the truck because the way I came in the opposite way. And there was well, probably could be, but it would be hellish to do a blind side. So then I had to go back around, turn around, come back that street, and position myself a sight side, which is what I did. And I slept right there at their gate. Then when they woke me up in the morning, that guy had backed in. Then I pulled up past where he backed in. He backed into the facility next door. And then, I mean, literally on this neighborhood street, telephone pole across the street, telephone pole at where you're backing into, I backed that truck around that pole and into that dock. And I just sat there, was and astonished, and only had a few pull-ups just to get it straight. But the butt of the truck was already at the dock. So again, that comes from really comes from my Conway days, because Conway, I did a lot of tight backing up in Canada, but also when you went to the East Coast to pick up stuff. But then they paid us, if I remember correctly, did they pay me extra for East Coast? I think they paid me extra for East Coast, and I know they paid me extra for the hazmat loads. So I did a lot of, like I said, I did a lot of hazmat in certain parts and I had like some facilities I knew. Like I went to one facility where my dog wasn't supposed to be on the truck, and I told them, I said, well, you guys know I have a dog on the truck. She said, can't you hide it behind the curtain? That's what every other company. I was like, okay. So I literally had to tie Hillary up. And I have she like busy bones. She loves these busy bones back in the day. I tied her up. I put her blanket over the top of my bed, put her blanket on the floor so she could, and I pretty much tied her up where she couldn't get past the curtain, and pulled the middle curtain and would talk to her so she would shut up so she wouldn't cry. I go, don't you cry. And no. And she would, and then she would sit back there till I checked in, and then I would park back away from everything so that I could keep her calm, and because Hillary liked to be with her human. So yeah, but no, you can with them. And what happens when they present a load to us, they ask us, we can counter, decline, or accept. So we can decline the load, you just have to give the reason. It's on them. And with the shortage, they were in to work with you. That's the good part of the company. They just need to, they need to pay more and they need to get better equipment. But like I said, they've got a lot of stuff in their starter company philosophy. They don't know. Unfortunately, they really don't know how to deal with an experienced driver. They still are too caught up in like the whole idle thing. That idle thing is from back in two. I started with them in 2010 when the trucks weren't even getting barely 5 miles per gallon, and now you're phone calling and it's micromanaging about idle. That's starter company stuff. You go to a mature company, they're not going to bother you about no idle. You also go to a mature company. That one thing they did finally get was the personal conveyance, but you also are going to get equipment that's not so streamlined. You're going to have APUs. You're going to have, in most cases, you're going to have the two kids that left. He told me, he says, I'm going to let you know how it goes. If you're interested, it is a lease purchase because there's another company I'm looking at. That's not the only one. He said, we're on, I think he's is he flatbed? I think they're flatbed, but they have a reefer division. So he's letting me know, and I'm in touch with it. And it just accidentally that I was just calling it. I sent them like a happy Thanksgiving and checking in on them. And he says, oh, yeah, we're no longer there at XYZ company you're with. And, we were broke down all the time. I lost my car because I couldn't pick my car note. And they were going through a lot because when I met them, they were just having a horrible time. And what's weird is that they were on a JIT fleet, and I kept trying to tell them, why don't you just come over to reefer? Because at least reefer be begging for drivers. Like I said, I really like my lady. We had to come to Jesus. That's like right now with the load I have. I'm like, look, can I drive in New York? Absolutely. I can drive in New York. I saw where all the facilities are. Buffalo, New York? I don't want to be in Buffalo, New York. Not this time of year. No, I don't. That's like you saying, hey, Shannon, we have a load going to Detroit, Michigan. I'll do it. But I would really prefer not to. Why? Because this time of year is lake effect snow. And you'll be stuck for a couple of days up in Michigan. And so, I don't know if we have snow pay. That kind of stuff. I'm stuck for a couple of days. I ain't getting no miles. Ain't making no money. One of the reasons why I didn't want to go lease purchase in the winter months. I wanted to lease purchase when you can build your money up because then you have money set aside in case something goes awry. Or you need to shut down and you ain't worried about trying to chase dollars and drive in dangerous conditions in order to make a truck note. So, yeah, there's a lot. And like I said, I'm still praying on the Prime thing. I've got feedback that it's not that bad. But like I said, I'm going to ask exactly what that pertains to. Because I got Shy trying to get me to come to his company, which I'm so in love with the maintenance of their equipment. Their trailers are, even their company trucks that I've seen over the road, and he said his company truck wasn't bad. It's just impeccable. Now the truck he has now, he's got a refrigerator and all that. I would love that. He has that Volvo, but he's doing lease purchase. I'm not in a position to lease purchase because they do a major credit check, and I was no way in hell until I get my Chapter 7, and even then, it may be a little bit with their criterion for me to actually meet their criterion to get a truck. But as a company driver, they do have the benefits. My doctor does accept their insurance. They're actually going to pay more than what I'm making now because they're getting ready to have a bump per Shy. He's already talked to his driver manager. I mean, he's really trying. He's like, if my homegirl comes over, he says, I'm telling you, I told her to ask for you, come to your fleet. You're going to like her. And I'm like, oh, my God. So he's working it. He really is. And I've asked a lot of questions. I have talked to their recruiter, the one that he referred me to, the lady, and they know him by his name and by his nickname. So I don't know. I'm looking at them. I'm also waiting to hear back from the boys on how they're running with their lease purchase because I am thinking lease purchase. There's a lot going on in my head right now. But like I said, the only thing I'll miss is the lady I work with. But yes, she basically, you have come to Jesus meeting with your driver manager, and you also need to know if you're forced dispatch or not. They send a dispatch, and I turn around and counter why I'm not gonna do it, and I'll counter. I'm like, okay, boom, boom, boom. I want to go eat. I want to go west. I don't want to be stuck out here no more. And y'all work with that. So, like I said, they will work with you because, again, there's a shortage. You're trying to work with drivers. And East Coast, I'm just like I am about Chicago when they were had me in my when I was doing my refresher training with trainer, not Trucker Bill, but Trainer Bill, and he wanted to. He's like, well, yeah, Shannon, they gave us this target load to deliver in Chicago. I said, bro, and it had a bunch of stops. I said, we're gonna be late on every last one of them. No, we got plenty of time, bro. We're gonna be, and we were late on every last load. Every last stop, we were late. I mean, and I'm not talking like 30 minutes late. I'm talking about an hour, 2 hours late. Because this crap was all in the heart of Chicago. One of them was at a mall where he had to jacket around a column, pull the truck up into almost the parking spot with the overhead thing hanging on the window because you could only be a certain height, and had to, child, please. Target can have it. But it's funny because that back I did in El Paso reminded me of the Target when I was dedicated Costco with this company. I would take a load from Phoenix to New Mexico, Costco in Albuquerque, and then they would have me come back either with a palleted load from Target. And when I went there, I would take my empty. They would make me pull the trailer out, back it in. I'm backing off of a major street and around a damn telephone pole. Yes, I remember that. Oh, I can't even say. But I remember that. But anyway, y'all will see the beginning. And so, to your question, we're not forced dispatch. And if there's an issue, I just talk to my driver manager. And they, one thing I do like about her, they have tried to work with you. Like I said, my only issue right now is the equipment, and I know I can make more money. That's pretty much my issue. The trailers, number one, are horrid. Number two, I want to if I can get a piece of equipment where I can have an actual refrigerator in it and a microwave. And three, I don't want the newbie bothering me crap. I don't want you calling me about no damn idle. I'm good. I'm good. So, and I would like something, prayerfully, if I can find something with APU, that'll work. So, anyway, y'all have a blessed night. I'm trying to take my butt to sleep. Peace.
Is when you have procurement embedded in the transportation.
All right, y'all. I am listening to Road Dog Trucking. So I'm in New Mexico. I made that Pilot Flying J. I was supposed to meet Shah at the Petro. He was holding a spot for me, and then I got through Arizona through a couple little snow storms, and then this massive, almost whiteout happened. And you see how thick it is. It's even on my windshield wipers. And I have my defrost. I had it set all the way up, so you can see how heavy it is. I'm waiting for this truck. He's gonna pull past me, and once he pulls past me, I'm probably gonna pull. Right now I'm facing the truck because it's the only thing I could do right now is face this truck. So I have no idea. I think I'm gonna stay my butt right here, unless they're face forward. If I could turn around, I might turn around. Let me see if I can go turn around. But part of me just wants to stay where the hell I'm at. But this guy's got to get out once the snow stops in the morning. But he could always wake me up. I don't mind. If they wake me up, I'm okay with that. The flatbed is sitting here. But yeah, we're in a line, so I don't know if I can get turned around, and I don't almost want to lose my spot. But everybody's just finding parking right now, how best they can. So, y'all get to see. I told Shy I was showing because I was supposed to meet him, and everything went to hell in a handbasket. Welcome to snow, y'all. Welcome to snow. It's 33 degrees there. It's 32 when I pulled in. But trailer started sliding a little bit, and I started seeing people sliding, and all of a sudden we had a big convoy of us just getting the hell off the thing. So I don't know if I'm going to go. I might go turn around, see if I can turn around and come back in here. I just don't want to lose my spot, but I think I might do that. Let me see what I can do. I have to see. Peace.